Well, Jenny Vatska, welcome to the Daily Grind. How are you today?
Hey, Colin. I'm great. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're all super excited that you're here. And Jenny, if you wouldn't mind, say for some people being first introduced to you today, just speaking a little bit more of who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm currently in Bali. I've just told you before that we started recording this. And I work with startups and small businesses on creating better and more efficient ones. So what does that look like? I specifically work with the CEOs, the founders, and help them get rid of the overwhelm, create better performing teams, and basically give them back hours in their week to focus on what they want to focus on. That could be the future vision, make more money, or simply hang out more with their families.
Amazing. And how long have you been doing this for, Jenny?
So I was in corporate consulting for 3 years, and then I realized, well, maybe it's time to switch because I wasn't really living the amazing life that I always dreamt of living. And then I quit a year ago, pretty much a year ago, and now I've been doing this for over a year.
Amazing. So when you were in corporate consulting, what were you doing before? Was this something where you knew you were gonna get into consulting? Like, did you go to school for that? What's your story there?
So see, it's really interesting. I think my entrepreneurial journey per se started when I was really young. You know, when like adults ask us this question, like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yep.
I think I was asked that around the age of 5, and I said, be a boss. And
okay.
I think I took that very literally. So like when I was like 12, I created my own babysitting agency. And when I was very, very small, probably like around the age of 4 or 5, I sold my sister's toys at flea markets and stuff like that.
No way.
But I think then when I went to school and to college, I kind of forgot about all of this. And I was like super focused on like climbing the corporate ladder. So I studied business and then did a master's degree in corporate finance. And I don't know, like for me, it was just the expected thing of like working in corporate.
Okay.
And that's what I ended up doing.
Got you. So when you were in corporate consulting, what were you consulting on? What were you helping businesses with specifically?
Yeah, so for the first 2 years, I worked on IPOs and like strategy and company valuations. So a lot of the strategic things. And actually then I realized that's not really the direction that I want to go into. So I asked within my company, I kind of gave them an ultimatum. I was like, I either quit or you let me switch departments. And they did, because they didn't want me to quit. Like employee retention is a big thing.
Yeah.
So I then switched on working in the innovation department, and there we worked with a lot of startups on startup growth and strategy and all of that. And yeah, that made total sense, and that was exactly what I wanted to do because it was the perfect pathway for me to quit and do my own thing.
Got you. So you've been doing that for 2 years. When you decided that this wasn't for you, you wanted to branch off on your own. How long were you thinking of doing that?
So I was really strategic about it. After 2 years in corporate consulting, my dad very suddenly passed away, and I realized like, oh wow, the way I'm currently living my life is such a waste. Like I don't want to do that anymore. And then I thought, well, what would be the best way to equip me for the life that I want to live? And that's when I made the decision to like change into the startup consulting within my company to like make sure I learn the most and I get like a good network and all of those things. So it was a very strategic move. And then, yeah, I think about a year into being in the startup consulting, that's when I let them know, okay, guys, I'm ready. I'm leaving. Bye-bye.
Wow. So when you had made that transition, you'd made that switch, had you been set up? Like, were you making money outside of your corporate job, or was this just like a clean slate, I'm going to leave and start my own thing?
No, it was actually a clean slate. I mean, in hindsight, maybe it was an excuse, but I was working like those 17-hour work days. I was literally flying every single day to a different country or a different city. And I was just like super exhausted. So I felt like I needed, and I also deserved a break. So I went on vacation for 2 months. And during that time, I only thought about the things that I wanted to do and actively took a break, not setting up anything. And then after my traveling, actually, it's funny because I then continued to travel full time, but I set myself a deadline on like April 1st, you're going to start this business. And then I did. And I think because I put in a lot of like strategic work up front, I was able to like hit 5 figures in the first month of my business, which was amazing.
So talk us through a little the strategic that you did in order to prepare you in order to make money. Because I think a lot of people may be in that same boat where whether they're working a corporate job, they want to set themselves up, or they just maybe just quit and they're in the startup mode. What are some things you did to set yourself up?
First of all, like soak in all the knowledge, all the things that you can learn, do it. But then also realize that there will be a point where you learned everything that you need in order to get started. And we're not talking in order to get your first million or whatever, but in order to get started.